Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. My name is Neileen Muhammad. I'm from America, and I'm here in Medina at this time. I'm not proud of a lot of things I did in life before Islam, but it's just my reality. I grew up in a nice home. I had a father, mother, siblings, but I was attracted to the streets of New York City. And I got in a lot of trouble as a young person. And at the age of 12 years old, I got arrested. I was released from doing some petty stuff, but that led me to more serious things that became a part of my makeup as I was growing up. The reason that I became Muslim in 1975, it was because I started understanding the religion, that the religion was based on Tawheed, the oneness of Allah. And one of the surahs that's in the Quran, that's 1/3 of the Quran, is called Surah Al-Ikhlas. It says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yulid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Say He, Allah, is the one, the only, the absolute. And it says, He begets not, nor is He begotten, and there's nothing like unto Him. When I heard that there's nothing like God, and He is not born, and He does not have relationships like I was taught in Christianity, that was it for me. That one surah changed my life, and at that time I knew that I wanted to follow this path of Islam. And so in 1975, when I took my Shahada, I started my journey to learning the religion, the 5 pillars, the 6 articles of belief, the things about Iman, and I started propagating what I believe. And that led me to 2006 to make my first Umrah and Hajj in Mecca in 2006. So growing up with my father, he was a man that was a no-nonsense. But I want to get to a part where later on where I had accepted Islam and was trying to abide by the Quran and the Sunnah at this time, and accepted Allah as the Creator and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the final messenger. So I want to tell you about an incident that happened. I went to visit my father and mother. I was married at that time, and I went to visit my father and mother. I was living in Miami, Florida, and I drove to Atlanta, Georgia. And it was during the Christmas time, so all my family was together, and we was in the house. And so what happened, they was in the dining room area, sitting around the table, and they decided to question me about my faith. So I'm explaining it to them lightly, trying to be courteous and give them dawah, but they was resisting. They did not accept it. So what happened, my daughter was with her cousin, Yasmin, my oldest daughter, was in the room with her 10 cousins, with my other children, and they got in an argument about Isa ibn Maryam. They were saying Jesus. So they was telling my daughter, who was a little girl, and with her cousins, that Jesus was God. So I heard my daughter say, no, Jesus is not God, that Allah is God. So my wife, under the table, she pinched me. Now I'm at my family's house, not her mother, not her father, but my father and mother's house, and she pinched me because she was worried about what Yasmin was saying. So Yasmin, my daughter, she was about 10 years old, she came into the kitchen, she said, Daddy, she said, isn't Allah God and Jesus is a prophet of Allah? And I said yes in front of my parents. My wife at that time was very afraid of the response from my family. So my father looked at me, he said, you're teaching that foolishness to my grandchildren? I said, Dad, it's the truth. He said, no, it's not, it's a lie. And it became very emotional in the house. And my daughter went back. But what I want to say, that moment was a pivotal moment in my child's life. Suppose I would have got afraid when she said that in front of my family. Now today she's a Muslim, but that could have, I would have said, no, let's don't talk about that. That would have showed that I was ashamed of Islam. But I stood up as a man, I stood up as a follower of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and acknowledged Allah and I acknowledged Prophet Muhammad. And today, my daughter still remembers that. And I remember, it's very emotional what happened. For many of you who don't know, I'm going to try to speak just a little Arabic. أنا أسكن في مدينة 5 سنوات حي مسجد كوبا. Masjid Kuba is special to me because I have my Quran class 3 days a week in Masjid Kuba. My learning of the Arabic language, I was أنا جامعة إسلامية لغة عربية مستوى الأول, and now I'm doing a course online. So I hope Allah extend my life long enough to learn the Arabic language, because learning the language is part of learning, it teach you into the culture, and to learn the knowledge of the religion deep, you need to know the language. Muhammad Ali, I met Muhammad Ali, we both took Shahada in 1975, but I had no connection with him then. But in 1976 and 1977, I met Muhammad Ali through an imam named Imam Nasser Ahmed, who is the imam in Miami, Florida to this day. He's been the imam now for over 45 years in Miami, Florida. He called me to the masjid. He said, Muhammad Ali is in town and he want to meet you. So at that time, I was training boxing at the famous 5th Street boxing gym because I was doing kickboxing. So I needed to learn how to box. So he told me to take 4 brothers with me and go meet him at this house. I go to this nice fancy house, and now I know what language they were speaking. They wasn't speaking Arabic, it was Urdu. He was with some Pakistani brothers, and it was packed, and they had cameras and everything. So I walk in, and Muhammad Ali looks, and I'm the leader of the group, and he said, my beautiful black brothers, welcome. You know, like we would say Muslim, Ahlan wa sallam. So I came to Muhammad Ali, I sit down beside him. So now, he's not in shape like he normally would be because he wasn't fighting. He was semi-retired. But I was training, so I was in good shape. So he looked at me, and I sit down. So they had all this rice, biryani, and they had all this food. So Muhammad Ali stood up over me, and he started pouring all this rice on my plate. So I told him, I said, no, I can't eat that, I can't eat that. So he looked at me, he said, why? I said, because I'm training. He said, yeah, but you're skinny. So I looked at him and I punched his belly like this. I poked his belly. I said, you're fat. And you know, he made his face and put his fist like this. I wish I had a picture of that, but I don't. And we clicked right away. And after that, we finished eating. He took me outside and he said, I want to show you something. He went to his car, opened the trunk, and he had all this dawat material. And he shared that with me. And he told me he wanted me to be with him while he's in Miami every day as possible. Don't go and try to force all the beliefs on a non-Muslim. First thing you need to do is be a good listener. Listen to where they're at spiritually and mentally and morally. And that's where you make your adjustments to deliver the message.